everyone, my name is Taylor Peach and today I'm going to show you how to make this cute little amigurumi chicken. This chicken is super cute and easy to make. It's perfect for any beginner, especially if you want to make something small and super cute. She has a nice yellow beak, a comb and a wattle, some pink cheeks and some big eyes. She even has little feet embroidered underneath. And she has 2 little chicken wings. This is more of a chibi style. It reminds me of something you'd find in a video game, such as in Harvest Moon, Stardew Valley, or even the attack chickens in The Legend of Zelda. I hope you'll join me in making this cute little chicken, and if you do, make sure you send me a picture on my Instagram at taylor.peach. And if you like this video, make sure you give me a thumbs up and comment down below what else you'd like to see. And if you're not already, please subscribe for more content with cute little chickens and other crochet and art things. Without further ado, let's get in right to making this cute little chicken. To start out, let's go over everything we'll need. First, we'll go over the yarn. You'll need your main color, which I'm using white because I want a little white chicken. Then, you'll need yellow for their little beak. If you're making a yellow chicken, you could use orange instead. Then you'll need some red for the little, whatever it's called. I don't know what it's called. I have like 20 chickens outside and I still don't know what it's called, but the little red thing on the top and underneath their beak. Then you'll need some pink for their blushes and some black for their eyes. And for an alternative to the black and the pink, if you don't want to buy a whole skein of yarn for that, you can get felt instead and just glue it on. Of course, you'll also need some stuffing. This is just some polyfill. You find it in stuffed animals. You'll of course need a crochet hook. I'm going to be using a 5mm just because that's one of my favorite sizes and it does match my yarn pretty nicely. Just use a crochet hook that matches your yarn. So if you have thick yarn, get a big crochet hook, but if it's thin yarn, get a smaller crochet hook. The size of your crochet hook doesn't really matter that much. The only thing is, if I were to use a 6mm instead of a 5mm, my crochet would come out just a little bit bigger. If you look at a brand new skein of yarn, it will tell you what size of crochet hook it requires. This one says a 5.5, but a 5 will work too. You'll also need some scissors. Any kind of scissors will do. You'll need a yarn needle. A plastic or a metal one will do. This metal one is new, and this is the first time I'm using it though. And some brown thread. If you don't want your chicken to have feet, then you don't have to use this part. That's everything we'll need. Let's put it back up in our little pack. And let's get started. Let's start out by grabbing our crochet hook and our base color of yarn. You could even do a blue or purple or pink chicken if you really wanted to. But today I'm going to do a white chicken like you've seen in the free pattern on craftpassion.com. Now, on the pattern for Craft Passion, they do work from 2 strands of yarn, but I'm just going to work with 1. You can work with 2 if you want. You just have to have a separate ball of yarn and then join them together. But I think that 1 strand is a lot easier, in my opinion. We're going to start with the body, which is just a little ball. We're going to take the end of our yarn. Make sure you grab a lot of yarn. I would let you know what brand I am using, but I've just grabbed some scraps from my collection, so I'm really not sure what kind of yarn this is. But it is worsted weight. If you don't know what that means, just Google it. Since this is a beginner tutorial, every time I do something new that I have not talked about in this video before, I will demonstrate it a few times, just to let you know how to do it. This is so that if I say a term, you're not sure, you don't have to go looking it up and watching another video for how to do it. I've had to do this countless amounts of times. Even after making a few crochets, someone will say, do a single crochet, and I'm like, wait, how do I do a single crochet again? Just show me. So every time I do something new, I will let you know how to do it. And first things first is a magic circle. Whenever I watch videos on magic circles, they seem so complicated, but really, it's very easy. So let me show you. So what you want to do is grab the end of your yarn with one hand. With your other hand, have your two fingers out. Lay it over top of your two fingers and grab the end with your thumb. Wrap it around the back and then wrap it over the front, making an X. Then just wrap it around the back again. That way, on this side, you have an X, and on this side is just two lines. X, lines. Now on this side with both parallel lines, you'll take your crochet hook, put it under the first, and then grab the second. Now when you grab the second, you'll want to pull it underneath the first, and while you're doing that, slowly let it off your fingers. Just like that. Alright? Now with the rest of this yarn, you just want to pull it a little bit tighter around your crochet hook, like this. We're going to grab some yarn over our hook and pull it through that little loop. And then tighten it up a little bit right there. Tighten it right here. And that is your magic circle. And if you don't get it the first time, don't worry. It just requires a little bit of practice. Rewind the video and try it again if you didn't get it your first time. You can also adjust the speed to watch my hands very slowly by adjusting the speed right down here if you're on PC. Once you get your magic circle, we're going to go on to the next step. Move your loop down just a little bit so we have some room. And we're going to do our first single crochet. You're going to insert your hook into the magic circle, just like this, and grab some yarn, and then pull it back. You're going to grab some more yarn, pull it through the two loops that you have on your magic circle. Now, that is one single crochet. We need to have 6 single crochets in this magic circle for our first round. So there's one. Insert into the magic circle, grab some yarn, pull it back through. Now that you have 2 loops on your hook, grab some more yarn and pull it through both of those little loops. There we go. Now we have 2 single crochets. Let's make a third. Insert into the magic circle. Grab some yarn, pull it back through. Grab some more yarn and pull that through both of those little loops. Just like that. Now there's 3. Insert into the magic circle, grab some yarn, pull it through, and then grab some more yarn and pull it through both of those little loops. Now we have 4. Now don't lose this piece right here, your end, because you'll have to pull this to close your magic circle. So if it's getting a little short, just give it a little pull, but not all the way. Alright, Now we have 4. Let's go on to 5. Insert, yarn over, pull it through, yarn over, pull through both of those loops. Now we have 5. 1 more to make 6. And there we go. We now have 6 single crochets in this magic circle. Now, what happens if you're not sure how many you have? Well, let me show you how to count them. This right here is a stitch. There's 2 little bumps. And that is how you count all your stitches. Now this is the loop that's on your crochet hook. I took it off to show you, so don't count that one. But here is 1, because you can see the 2 little bumps. 2, 3, 4, 5. Right here, it's really hard to see, but this one is 6. Right here, those are the 2 little bumps. Once you have 6, you can pull your magic circle close. There we go. Now if you're still having any trouble, you can always rewind the video and watch again at a different speed. Now would be a good time to get a placeholder. I have my own placeholder right here. It holds your place in your amigurumi so that you know exactly where you are when you're crocheting. Now you don't have to get something like this. You can use something simple like a paper clip, a safety pin, or even another color of yarn. And I'll show you that right now. Just snip you off another piece of yarn, preferably in a different color, and you can use this as your placeholder. We'll put that aside until we do our first stitch of round 2. In round 2, we are going to increase all the way around until we have 12 stitches instead of 6. An increase is just 2 single crochets in 1 stitch. So, as we know, this is a stitch right here. We'll just be putting 2 single crochets in each one of these. Okay, so now we need to insert into our next stitch. Sometimes it is a little bit hard when you're first starting out because sometimes it can be a little bit tight. So let's count back to make sure that we're putting it in the right one. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Ooh. So let's just try to squeeze it in there in both of the little stitches. There we go. That stitch is just a little bit tight. Now what we're going to do is do another single crochet. We've already inserted. So yarn over, pull through. Whoop. Come on. There we go. And yarn over and pull through both of those loops. So now we have 1 single crochet. And now for our increase, we'll have to insert right back into the same stitch. There we go. Yarn over, pull that through once. Whoop. There we go. Yarn over and pull it through one more time. Now we have 2 stitches in 1 stitch. And now would be a good time to mark your first stitch, which is right here, with your placeholder. And if you're using yarn, all you have to do is insert your crochet hook into that stitch, put your yarn on there, and pull that through. You can tie a little bow or knot with this Just don't do it too tight so you're still able to get it off. And that way you know where you're at. I'm just going to be using this placeholder. Let's just put it right in there. We're going to continue to increase for every stitch in that first round. So right here is our next one. Insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through, insert into the same stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through again. Now we have 4 stitches and only 2 stitches. Insert into your next stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through again, and in the same stitch, do another single crochet, insert, yarn over, and pull through all. Right, now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we're halfway there. Our next stitch, do another increase with our single crochets. So there's 1 single crochet and 2 single crochets in the same stitch. We're almost there. 1 single crochet and 2 single crochet in that same stitch. Single crochet and then another in the same stitch to make it an increase. There we go. Now we should have 12, so let's count to make sure. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we do have just the right amount of stitches. And if we didn't have this placeholder here, we might just go around and around forever and never know when to stop. So it's very important to always have your placeholder. Now a lot of amigurumis always start out the same, and this is one of them. I've had so many amigurumis that start out like this, so the more you practice with these, you'll just get them. It's very easy to do. Alright, let's take out our placeholder and go to round 3. For this, we'll want to increase on the first one. So insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through once more. In the same stitch right here, do another single crochet. Alright, and then we'll want to mark our first stitch again, and since we did an increase, we know that it's this one right here. Next, we're just going to do 1 single crochet, no increase this time. So the next stitch, 1 single crochet. There we go. Next, we're going to do another increase. So 1 single crochet, and in the same stitch, we're going to do another one. Just like that. Can you guess what's next? 1 single crochet, no increase. Just like that. And then another increase. There we go. Now this is the pattern for round 3. And all of the following rounds will have a pattern similar to this. And the reason why we put single crochets in between our increases is to space them out. That way, we can make a ball. If we were to do all of our increases on one side, then that side's going to be a lot bigger than this side. If we were to do just all increases all around, you'd end up with something very flat. But we want to make a ball, so we're doing a few increases in between a few single crochets. That way, you'll end up with something round. Continue to do your pattern of 1 single crochet and an increase, just like that, until you reach your placeholder. You should now have 18 stitches all the way around, and now it should be getting a lot easier for you to count them, so they're all nice and uniform. Always remember that you can pause and rewind the video if you need to, or just pause until you're ready to continue. And you can always come back at a later time if you need to take a break. Now we're going to go on to round 4. Take out your placeholder. We're going to start with an increase. Okay, so that made us 2 stitches. Let's mark our place in the first stitch right here. And now this time, in between our increases, we're going to do 2 single crochets. So a single crochet in this stitch, and then an increase in this one. Alright, so there's 1 single crochet, 2 single crochet, and then another increase. Each time we do an increase, we add 1 more stitch to our round. That way we can make it a lot bigger than it is now. You know, this is a little chicken, so it's not going to get too big. If you ever take a break and you come back and you're not at the end of your round and you're like, I don't remember what I just did. I don't know what comes next. I don't know what stitch I'm on. All you have to do is come back to your placeholder and count. We know that an increase is 2 stitches. We know at the beginning of our round we did an increase. So here's 1, 2. We know that's an increase. And we know that in this round we're doing a pattern of 2 single crochets in between our increases. So 1 single crochet, 2 single crochet, and then 1, 2 for our increase. So that means we have a single crochet next and another one after that. I get lost a lot when I'm doing these because I get very easily distracted. Alright, we did our 2 single crochets. Now we'll do another increase. Make sure you do this pattern until you reach all the way back around to your helpful little placeholder. Thank you, placeholder. You're very helpful in our amigurumi needs. At the ending of round 4, you should have 24 stitches all the way around. And always feel free to check the description down below and open up the free crochet pattern on craftpassion.com. That way you can learn how to follow along with the pattern while I'm doing it. Because reading patterns can actually be pretty difficult sometimes because a lot of people write theirs a lot differently. I've had some patterns I have to read over and over again before I even know what in the world they're talking about. But this one is very nice. It's not very confusing in my opinion. It's a very good pattern and very well written if you want to follow along with it. Reading patterns is definitely a skill that you have to learn if you're going to be practicing amigurumi a lot. Alright, let's go on to round 5. Take out your placeholder, and we're going to start with another increase. There's 1, and then 2 in the same stitch. And mark that first one right there. That way we'll know when to stop. For this one, instead of 1 or 2 crochets, we're going to do 3 crochets in between our increases. So let's count them out. There's 1, 2, and then 3. Then we can do our increase. Okay. Now we're going to do 3 more single crochets. 1, 2, and 3. Then our increase. If your loop ever falls off your hook, mine does a lot, just pull it back through and put it back on. If you ever mess up a stitch entirely, you can always just pull it out until the last stitch pulls up. And finish off our increase. You'll repeat this pattern until you reach your placeholder. Once again, it is an increase, and then 3 single crochets, and another increase. A tip to have: if you ever just mess up around and the count does not come out right at all, just take your crochet hook out, pull your yarn out until you can find your mistake. And if you can't find your mistake, just pull it out until about here where your placeholder is and just start over. I've had to pull out a lot of rounds before just for one simple little mistake that anybody could make. You all always at least make one mistake when you're doing an amigurumi. It's bound to happen. So don't give up if you make a mistake. Just pull that yarn out and try again. Now you should have 30 stitches at the ending of round 5. If you don't, try it again. Try again until you have 30. Let's go on to round 6. Once again, we'll be starting with an increase in our first stitch because that is what our pattern calls for. I like to follow by the pattern when I can. There you go. We're going to put our placeholder back into that first stitch of our round. And then, instead of 1, 2, or 3 single crochets, you guessed it, we're going to do 4 single crochets in between our increases. So let's count them out. There's 1, 2, 3, and 4 single crochets. Next, we'll do our increase. And then another 4 single crochets. So there's 1, oops, 2, 3, 4, and then an increase. Once again, you'll want to continue this pattern until you reach your placeholder, because that's how we know when to stop. I should make a placeholder that just looks like a stop sign. That would be great. Like, stop here. Do not continue on. Do not pass go. do not collect $200. Once you've reached your placeholder for round 6, you should have 36 stitches going all the way around. If you don't, go back, see what happened, fix that mistake. But if you do, it's time to go on to round 7. For this part, you might want to have a pencil and a piece of paper. Okay. Or you can use your phone, up to you. But I like to visually show you how to do it. Alright, so I'm going to write down our next rounds. First being 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Okay, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. For the next 6 rounds, you are going to make only single crochets all the way around. You're not going to increase or add any more stitches. You're just going to have 36 every single time, I've learned that writing them down and checking them off as I finish them helps me the most in remembering what round I'm on. And let me show you how I do it. As always, take out your placeholder. And this time we're just going to do a single crochet. Right. Now put your placeholder in that first stitch. We are in round 7. And you're just going to do single crochets all the way around. You don't even have to count them. Just single crochet all the way around. Just don't skip a stitch and you'll be fine. Which really I don't believe I have ever skipped just a stitch. Maybe I have. I don't know. Okay, I have reached back around to my placeholder. And now what I'll do is I'll take my pencil, my notepad, and I will check off 7 so I know that I'm done with it. And then you'll just remove the placeholder, do your single crochets all the way around again, and once you do that, you will be done with round 8, and then you would check that off and continue doing that until you check off 12. As soon as you check off 12, we will be right back to doing the rest of the amigurumi. I will not be showing you me doing all of these because that would take up a lot of time and you don't want to watch that. You already know how to do this. As soon as you check off 12, I will be right back. And just like that, I have checked off all of my 6 rounds up to 12. So you can put that aside as soon as you're done. And you should have something that looks like this. A little cereal bowl. Yes. Let's just pour some milk in here and eat our Cheerios out of it. I'm just kidding. Now would be a good time to flip our work. When you do crochet, there's a certain texture that you'll see. This is the outside right now. It doesn't really look like regular amigurumi you might see, but the inside does. So we need to just flip it. This is the proper texture we use in amigurumi. It looks a lot nicer and neater than this side. So we'll be just working on the outside from now on. You don't have to flip your work, but it does look a lot nicer if you do. I believe it was my first 2 amigurumis I ever did. Nobody ever mentioned flipping it. So I just never did, and they all had this texture, which is not preferable in my opinion. I think that this side looks a lot better, and when you search amigurumi online, it will always be this texture. Going on to round 13, as always, take out your placeholder. And this time, we're gonna do something a little bit different. Since we're making a ball, we are going to do the same thing we did with these up here. What we'll want to do first is the opposite of an increase, which is a decrease. And that is turning 2 stitches into only 1 stitch. And let me show you how we do that for single crochet. First, you'll want to insert into your first stitch, yarn over, and pull that through. You will have 2 loops on your hook. And now we'll want to insert into the next stitch right here. Yarn over and pull through. Now you'll have 3 loops on your crochet hook. Yarn over and pull through all 3 of those. And this right here is your decrease. Now don't forget to put your placeholder back in so we'll know when to stop. There we go. Now we're going to do basically the same pattern we did over here, just a little bit backwards. So instead, we're starting with our decrease, and we're going to do 4 single crochets. So there's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then we're going to do another decrease. Let me show you how to do that again. Insert into our first stitch, yarn over, pull that through once, insert into our second stitch, yarn over, pull that through once. When you have your 3 loops, yarn over and pull it through all 3 of those. And that turns those 2 stitches into only 1 stitch, so we can start to form our ball. We'll do 4 single crochets once more. So there's 1, 2, 3, and 4. And we'll do another decrease. Insert into the first stitch, yarn over and pull it through. Insert into your second stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, and pull through all 3 of those. We'll go through it one more time just so you can get the hang of these decreases. Because that's what we will be doing from now on instead of the increases. Insert into your first stitch, yarn over and pull through. Insert into your second stitch, yarn over and pull through. Yarn over and pull through all 3. Repeat this pattern of decrease, 4 single crochet, decrease, until you reach all the way back around to your placeholder. Once you're finished with round 13, you should have 30 stitches all the way around. Let's remove our placeholder and go on to round 14. Like we did before, we're going to start with a decrease. Just like so. That'll be our first stitch of this round. Don't forget your placeholder. And this time we're going to do 3 single crochets and then a decrease. So there's 1, 2, 3, and then a decrease. We'll do 3 again. 1, 2, 3, and then a decrease. Make sure you repeat this pattern until you reach back around to your placeholder. And once you're done with that, you should have 24 stitches all the way around. Take out your placeholder again. Start with another decrease. And we're going on to round 15. This time we're going to do 2 single crochets in between our decreases. So here's 1, 2, and decrease. 1, 2, and decrease. Continue this pattern of 2 single crochets and then a decrease till you get back to your placeholder. At the end of round 15, you should have 18 stitches all the way around. Now comes a very important step. We are going to pull our loop a little bit so we don't lose it. Take our crochet hook out, and we are going to stuff our little chicken. And if you're using safety eyes, now would be the time to put them in. But I'll be embroidering the eyes, so I don't have to do that right now. We'll need to get our polyfill and start stuffing the little chicken. You'll have to break it up into little pieces since he's so small. Now when you're stuffing your amigurumis, if they ever come out looking a little weird or oblong, make sure you shape them out with your hands. That already looks a lot better. Just look at every angle and make sure you have it stuffed properly. I believe that's enough stuffing for me. You can always stuff it to where it's really hard. You can stuff it less to where it's really squishy, and I think this is a good texture for me. Put your crochet hook back in, tighten it up right there. Now we're going to go on to round 16. We're going to start out with another decrease. Don't forget that placeholder, you'll still need it. Now we're going to do 1 single crochet and then another decrease. One single crochet and then a decrease. And you'll keep doing this all the way around till you reach that placeholder again. At the end of round 16, you need to have 12 stitches around. And we're almost done. You can add a little bit more stuffing if you'd like, since we added some more yarn, so now it's just a bit taller. Take that placeholder out. Going on to round 17, this is our last round for our body. We're going to start with a decrease. Put in that placeholder. And then we're just going to decrease all the way around. And that was our last stitch. And you should have 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now you'll want to get your scissors. Just leave a long tail for that. Snip it off. And we're going to finish this off. I'll just show you how I like to do it. I always just go into the next stitch. I grab this yarn, I pull it through, and I pull it through again, all the way. That way, no matter how much you tug on that, it's not going to unravel. There. Now we have our squishy little chicken body. The next thing on our list is to make the beak. So go ahead and grab your yellow yarn or whichever color you're using for their beak. And we are going to find the end of that yarn and we're going to make another magic circle, just how we did at the start of the chicken body. Alright, so we're going to lay the end across our 2 fingers right here like we did before. We're going to wrap it around, form an X, and wrap it back around. Flip it over, take your crochet hook underneath the first, grab that second one and pull it underneath. Slowly pull your fingers out. With the rest of the yarn, we're going to put it over our hook and pull that through. And this is what it should look like. If you get it messed up, make sure you rewind and watch again carefully. It is not too hard with just a little bit of practice. Alright, and this time we're going to make 5 single crochets in our magic circle. So insert your hook into the circle, grab some yarn and pull it through, grab some yarn and pull it through both of these 2 loops. Just like that. So there's 1, and then we're going to go 2, 3, 4, and if you start running out of room, you can always pull this a little bit. And 5. You can count them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now pull the magic circle closed. Now what you're gonna do is you're going to increase in all these 5 stitches right here. Let's try to get in our first one. It's always a little bit difficult. I usually make it a bit too tight, so it's kind of hard to get into. There we go. Let's do a single crochet. You can put a placeholder in this one if you'd like, but I'm just gonna count. In the same stitch, do another single crochet. If you're afraid you're gonna get lost, mark this stitch right here. So we got 1, 2, and we're gonna stop when we get 10 stitches. 3, 4, and that was in the same stitch. We're just going from 5 stitches to 10 stitches. 5, 6, 7, 8, another increase right there, and our last increase, 9, 10. And we just did increases in all 5 of those stitches. Pull that closed, and right there is your beak. We're gonna leave a long tail for sewing. So about like this. just insert your hook in the next stitch, grab that yarn, and just pull it all the way through. Pull it tight, and that way that'll be secure. And there's your beak. And when we assemble it, we'll just fold it over and stick it on just like that. Set that aside. Now we're going to make the waddle. Grab your red yarn. You don't have to make these if you don't want to. If you're making a little chick instead of a hen, you can leave this part out. This one we're going to start out a little bit differently than what we have been doing. We're going to start with a slip knot. Basically what you do is you make a little loop, and then you take a piece through the center of that loop and then pull, just like that. I'll show you one more time. Make a little loop, pull some through the center, and just tighten it up. Right there. Feel okay. Put it on your crochet hook, pull it, and there you go. That's just your slip knot right there. What we're going to do is chain 2, which is just put your yarn over your crochet hook and pull it through this loop. So there's 1, yarn over the crochet hook, pull it through, and that's 2. And then back in this stitch right here, we're just going to put a single crochet. So insert, grab some yarn, pull it through, grab some more yarn and pull it through both of those loops. And right there is your waddle. And we're going to cut this off real quick. Leaving a long tail for sewing. And then we're going to fasten it off. And I'm just going to insert the hook right here. And then, oh, whoops. Put that back on my hook. Insert right here. Grab some yarn. Grab some yarn. Oh my goodness, sometimes it's a struggle. Pull it through and then just pull it through again so we can fasten that off. There we go. There's our little waddle. This goes underneath their beak. Now we're going to make the comb, which is a little red wobbly bit on the top of their head. It kind of goes like this, little bumps. And this time we're actually going to do surface crochet, which is crocheting directly on the surface of our amigurumi. So if you'll grab your red yarn once again and your little chicken ball, we're going to make another slip knot. So grab the end of your yarn, wrap it around your fingers to make a little loop, and then pull a little bit through the middle. Pull it tight. You should have this little loop. Put that on your crochet hook and pull it tight. Not too tight, but you know, to fit the hook. Now we're going to find the top of the chicken, which will be this closed part right here. This is the bottom part of our chicken. This is where we finished our chicken off. This is where we started. So we're going to start at the top of the head. And I think I'm going to start it about here. You can start it anywhere at like the front of the head. Just make sure that it goes in a straight line. So I'm thinking about right here. That looks about right. Either this stitch or this stitch. Let's go with this stitch. So I'm going to insert in here. Come out right here. And this will be where my comb starts. Take your red yarn and we're going to make a single crochet right here. So just like we always do with our single crochets, grab some yarn. You'll have the 2 loops on your hook. Grab some more yarn and pull it through both of those. This will be a little bit tricky to get it through. There you go. And then you can pull that a little bit tight. There we go. So now you have 1 single crochet on the surface of your chicken. Now we're going to chain 3 like we just did with our bottle. So put your yarn over your hook and pull it through the loop already on your hook. So there's 1, and then 2, and then 3. Alright, so we've got a single crochet and 3 chains. Now we're going to look back on the chicken right here, and in our next little stitch, let's find one about right here and right here. We're going to make another single crochet. So just grab some yarn right there. Oh boy. There we go. There's our 2 loops. Grab some more yarn, pull it through both of those. So there's 1 single crochet. And then we're going to do another single crochet. Let's find our next stitch to go into. I think we'll go right here. That looks about right. Grab some yarn. Whoops. I accidentally went through our loop. That's okay, we've got both of our loops right here stuck together. Yarn over and pull it through both of those. Right, so that single crochet attaches our bump back to the body. The bump, of course, being made of those 3 chains. We're going to add another single crochet into the chicken body. So let's insert right here, come back out right here, grab some yarn. Oops. Sometimes it's a bit hard to pull it through, so I'll wrap it just around the hook like that so it's a bit easier. There we go. And there's our second single crochet. And our pattern says to slip stitch into the next stitch, but I would rather not do that, so I'm going to make 3 more chains to form our next bump. So there's 1, 2, 3. Alright, and then we're going to make another single crochet into our surface. Oh, there we go. There we go. That finishes off that single crochet. There's our second bump. Now we're going to do another single crochet into the body. Do it right about here. Alright, there's our second single crochet again. And then we're going to make 3 more chains. There's 1, 2, 3. Make another single crochet into the body. Make sure you're going in as straight a line as possible. So I think I'm going to go into this one. There we go. Alright, and there's our last single crochet. And then we're going to cut this off. And we'll just slip stitch into this stitch right here, which is just joining them both together. Pull that tight. This is about what it should look like. I believe that these over here, the stitches were a bit closer together than these back here, else the bump would be a little bit taller. But yeah, 3 little bumps for the comb. And that's what it looks like from the front. And there's the side. And then later on we will sew this and this into the body of the chicken so you will not see it. Okay, so you won't need your red or your yellow yarn anymore, so we'll just put those away for now. Now you'll just need your white yarn again to make 2 wings for your little chicken ball. We're gonna start with another magic ring. So on your 2 fingers, loop around, make an X, loop it back around, turn it over under the first, grab the second, pull those fingers out, and secure that on the hook like so. This time, instead of 6 or 5 single crochets like we have done in the past, we are going to do 3 single crochets inside our magic ring, or otherwise known as magic circle. You can use both terms interchangeably. So let's make 1, 2, 3, just like so. And you're gonna pull that closed. And then what you're going to do is just increase in all 3 of these until you have 6 stitches. That's all you have to do. So in this one, we're going to squeeze in our crochet hook. And if the tail is getting in the way a little bit, do 1 single crochet, and in the same stitch, do another. So we'll have an increase. And if you want to, you can mark this stitch right here. And then once you get to that, you know to stop. But it's only 6 stitches, so I'm not going to mark the place. I'm just going to count. We've got 1, 2. Another increase right here. It's 3, 4. And then our last increase right here. It's 5. And 6. Make sure you pull this end tail closed. We are going to fasten off the next stitch right here. So we'll cut a long tail for sewing. Oops, sorry. And we'll just pull that tail . We'll just pull that tail all the way through to fasten it off. Right there is one of your wings. So you'll need to make 2 of these, unless you just want a 1-winged chicken, but it is very easy to make a wing, magic circle, 3 single crochets, and then 3 increases until you have 6 stitches around. Fasten it off. Don't forget to leave a long tail because we will have to attach it to the chicken itself. Okay, I went back and made another wing. That did not take long at all. Look at how cute they are. I wonder if I can fly with these. Woo. Set those aside. Now we're going to work on the blushing cheeks. Now we won't need this white yarn anymore, so just toss it. Not really. Save it for something else, at least. So now you'll need some nice pink yarn for some blushies. And if you don't have pink yarn, or you don't want to go out and buy pink yarn, because skeins can be expensive if you're only going to use it for one thing, just buy some felt, pink felt, cut it in a circle, glue it on the chicken. That's all you have to do. But I'm going to make some blushies like the pattern calls for. We are going to do another magic circle, so both your fingers, wrap it around, make that X, wrap it back around, turn it around, undo the first, grab the second, pull your fingers out, and make sure it is attached to your crochet hook, like so. And we're going to do 5 single crochets inside the magic circle. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Just like so. You can count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to pull that closed. And then, see this one right here, we're going to stick our crochet hook in there. There we go. Pull that through. That one and this one. And then just cut you off a tail, because that's all you have to do. Pull that all the way through. Make sure it's nice and tight on both ends. And there is your little chicken blushies. It looks kind of like a rose, just a little bit, maybe. Or a little flower. Very cute. But yeah, this is our blushies. And you're going to make 2 of these. So here's one. And let's make another one. Ta-da! Now we have 2 of them. Because of course, if you're going to have blush on a chicken, you have to have 2 of them. 1 for each cheek. Unless, of course, your chicken only has 1 cheek. But then that would be a very strange chicken, don't you think? Alright, set those aside. Next, we're going to do his eyes, or her eyes. I guess it would be her because it's a hen. But you're going to grab your black yarn, or you can get black felt and just glue it on. It's fine, really. Then you will need your yarn needle. Let's try to get this bad boy in here. Like so. I'm gonna do a little knot, so hopefully it does not come undone. Okay, so I think the best way to find out where you want the eyes to go is to first see where you want the nose, the beak, whatever. I want the beak to be about right here. So I'm just gonna temporarily attach this with another yarn needle. We're not attaching the beak just yet, but I don't want to have the eyes too far or too close together. Okay, so I think I'm going to put the eyes here and here. We're going to start with this side. I would like to have the eyes go like this. Okay, in order to do this, I don't want to just stick my yarn needle in here and do it, because then it'll very easily come apart. So what I can do is take my yarn needle and put it in about the back of the chicken. And I'm going to try to pull it through and bring it up to about where I want the eye to be. Does that look good? Yeah, that looks great. There we go. We're going to pull that through just a little bit. And then about 2 stitches up, I'm going to insert the yarn needle here and have it come out the side where we came in on that side. Pull it through. And there's a cute little eyeball for us. Alright, make it about double, maybe triple, we'll see. perhaps triple. Put it in this way again, come out this end. How does that look? Oh yes, very cute. I think we'll do one more. Yeah, I think 3 would be good. Alright, so this one I want to finish it off. I want this to be my last one. So I'm going to insert it where I want it to be. I'm going to come over here, try to have it exit the same hole that it came through the first time. Right there. I'm going to pull that, just like so. And pull it too tight, but not too loose either. I can cut off this one end of black yarn now, like so. And then what I'm going to do is just tie a knot in here, right there at the surface. And then I'm going to shove that in there, inside of the chicken. Alright. Snip that off, and then shove that the rest of the way inside of that chicken. And it is no longer. Now, we just have an eye. Look at it. Oh, that's so cute. Look at it. Now, of course, you could always have a chicken with one eye. But I'm going to go and do the same thing for this side. And I'll meet you right back as soon as I'm done with that. Oh my goodness, I finished the other eye and it looks so cute. Oh, very symmetrical. I'm very happy with that. Really, embroidery is more of a practice. The more you do it, the better you'll get at it. I used to be really bad at this. But practice makes perfect. It's actually symmetrical, which is surprising. I had them both tilting this way, so that helps. Next up, just because it's getting really annoying, is I'm going to tuck these inside the chicken so it's nice and safe. Let me remove this black yarn from my needle. And what we're going to do is take this very long, irritating piece of yarn that is a part of the comb, and we're just going to tuck it in nice inside of the body so that we don't have to deal with it anymore. So I'm going to put it through the yarn needle. I'm going to leave a bit of space for that as well. And then I'm going to go near where it starts. And I think in here, I'm just going to pop my needle in there and bring it out through the bottom somewhere. Feel around, there it is. We're just going to pull that through. Pull it all the way through. Fix your chicken up. We're just going to snip this off. That's all you have to do. Tuck that in. Now that end is just hiding inside of your chicken and not being annoying like this one. We'll do the same thing for that one. This one, I don't think it's long enough to actually pop out the other side, so I doubt we'll have to trim it. Always make sure you go in a hole that is very close to closest one you can get, actually. I think probably this one. Sometimes the stuffing is a little bit hard to get through. But just pull that baby through there. Oop. Oh, it did come out the other end. Wow, I'm surprised.
snip him off. Poke him back in there so it's not showing at the bottom of your chicken. It'd be a little bit weird. You can also get your crochet hook and prod in there. Sorry, chicken. There we go. That looks a lot better now. So there's no pesky yarn strands hanging off of him. Next, I guess we can attach this beak, huh? Let's do that. We're gonna start with this long end right here. Sometimes it's a little bit hard to get on there. If you just really can't get it on there, get the end a little bit wet, twist it, it'll go on pretty good after that. Make you a little knot in there so it doesn't come off. You can also double knot it if you would like. It helps to have like something else to hold it in place while you're doing this, but if you don't have another yarn needle to just stab into your chicken, you can do it without. Now, what we're going to do is try to, as seamlessly as possible, attach this beak to this chicken. Now, as you can see, the yarn starts right here. So whatever we pull this through, our needle, this yarn will follow it. If I were to stick it in here, we'd have an ugly little yarn demon looking thing. It's just a piece of yarn. That would be on the outside of our chicken. We don't want that, so we're going to try our best to hide it. So right underneath where this yarn comes out, we are going to find the best little hole for it to go into. And I'm thinking it's going to be this one right here. So let's insert into this little chicken hole. Come out the other side. Bam. There we go. Pull that tightly. Make sure you pull all of this tightly. You don't want it coming undone. Next, we're going to come back into the beak in the next stitch. Pull that. Now the yarn is coming out about here. Pull it. Now, we find, right, so now we can go into this stitch, I believe would be the best. Oh, don't get caught on there. There we go. Pull that through, come back into the beak. And then find the next best stitch to put in your chicken, which I believe would be this one. Oh yes, coming along very nicely. And then back into your chicken. You don't have to get every single stitch. Sometimes I'll skip one depending on how big or small your piece is. Okay. Alright, so we'll go into this stitch. It's right underneath where our yarn is currently at. Pull that through. Go back into the beak. Like so. Pull it tight. Now, about right here. If you already know how to attach things, you can skip this and go on to the next part of the video, but really there's no great way to explain attaching other than watching and practicing it yourself. I used to hate attaching things because it would end up crooked, but I feel like I've gotten the hang of it. And that just comes with a lot of practice. Insert back into the beak. And then right underneath here, we'll go This one looks good. Pull it tight. Back into our beak. Also, I'm going to take this tiny little piece of yarn. I'm just going to stuff it into the beak. It can be used as like a little bitty stuffing for the beak. And then insert back into the body. About right here looks best. And then again into the beak. Right here. And into the body. And that looks like it's about good. Let's take this out. Oh, his big old beak. You could also make a duck this way if you wanted. Just don't put the comb on it because ducks don't have those. Alright, that looks great. Okay, so I've had some comments about this in particular, which is this string just sitting inside the body like this. I know that some people have expressed to me that they're afraid that if this string were to somehow get unlodged from the inside of this chicken without tying a knot, that this beak will fall off. I can assure you, even if this part is out of your chicken, that this beak is not going to come off. If you tightened your stitches well enough, this thing's not going anywhere. So, let's hide this thing, knowing that even if it does come out, we can just pop it back in and this beak isn't going anywhere anymore. I actually figured that out because when you attach something crooked and you want to reattach it in the right place, you have to undo every single stitch you did. You can't just pull it off. But insert that needle into your chicken, bring it around to the back, and then just pull it. Just like that. Snip it off. You do not have to tie a knot. If you want to, you can, but I assure you that beak's not going anywhere. Now we've got a chicken with a beak. Oh, so cute. Next, we can attach this little waddle. Alright, take the long end and put it on your needle. Really, you can attach these in any order you want, but I'm just going off the order I'm picking randomly. Tie a knot on there. Let's see. We want it right underneath the beak. Right? Let's attach this. I'm going to hold this right here. Wherever we insert our needle is where this will end up. So let's go in right here. So that will go right there. Okay. Pull that through. Okay. And then let's go back into the waddle. Pull that through. Make sure it's tight. That looks good on the beak. For a little bit more security, we will put a little bit on the body. So a stitch right underneath, I'll choose. Put that through. Go back through the waddle again. Oop, there we go. And I think we can go back through the body one more time. think that makes it pretty secure. We could go ahead and just attach this as well. And all of it will be attached to the body. Okay, let's do that. Go through the waddle again. And then through the stitch. Got a little bit of... I think that looks good. Let's hide this now. So that through the back of the body there. Snip it off. Tuck it in. And then we just have to hide the other piece of yarn coming off of the waddle. Just how we did with the comb at the top. Come on, there we go. Snip them off, hide them in there. There we go. No trace of him. Okay, now we have a chicken with a comb, two beautiful eyes, a big old beak, and a waddle. Now, I think would be a good time for the blush. I'm going to do it on this side to demonstrate. So let's grab the long end right here and put it on our yarn needle. Oops. Give it a good knot. And now make sure you have your blush on the right side. This is the back of the blush. This right here where it looks like a flower is the front of the blush. So, once again, I'm going to take this other yarn needle and I'm going to put it exactly where I want it to be at. I think right here would be a good place for it. Okay. So right underneath where this yarn is this stitch right here. So we're going to use that one. Pull it tight. Go right back into the blush. And then underneath this one, we'll find another stitch right about here. Back into the blush. Right under that piece of yarn. Right here. That looks good. Back into the blush again. And now hopefully you can get the hang of attaching, because this sure has a lot of it. Make sure you always pull out the direction of where you're going to go back into your blush. The last little piece to go into. We could probably just take this right on through the body here. There we go. Snip him off. And that is a lot easier than you would think, attaching that little blush. Now this we will also hide inside of the body, just like we did with the end of the wattle. Technically the beginning, because this is the beginning of the yarn that you have when you start making these little pieces. Just gotta get it through this yarn needle. Right underneath where this yarn is coming out of, we're going to stick it through, go to the back of this chicken, pull it through, cut it off, tuck it in there, and we've got one blush done. And then I'll go do the other one, and we will then come back and put the wings on. Alright, I've got the little blushies attached now, and we will then attach the wings. So once again, I'll show you how to do it on this side, and then you can do this side on your own. Alright, so take your wing, get the longer side, put it on your yarn needle. Also, this is my first time using a metal yarn needle, and oh my goodness, it is so much better than the plastic yarn needles that I've been using. I absolutely love it. So we're going to put our wings about at the same level as the cheeks on the side of our chicken. So I'd say about right here is good. Make sure that this side is the one that's up, not this side. Oops, this thing's a little bit too light for its own good. Okay, I'm going to insert back into the wing. Make sure you're pulling tightly. Go into another stitch, back into the wing, and then to another stitch, and we'll go back into our wing one more time, right here on the edge, and then into another stitch right here, just like so. That's pretty nice and attached. Pretty easy as well, did not take that many stitches. We'll just go right into the chicken here, bring it out the other side, and chop it off like we have been doing. And I don't even know where that was. The white blends in with the white body. And there's our first little wing. So cute. And then we'll hide this again. And go right through the body to the other side. Chop it off, and there's our little wing. Alright, I'll be right back as soon as I attach the other one. Alright, I've finished attaching the wings, and now she can fly. Yes, fly away. And now I'm going to close up this hole. I could have done this earlier, but I didn't want to, so it's fine. It's very easy to do. Grab this yarn that's still attached to it, put it on your yarn needle. What we're going to do is just go across here, come back around, pull it closed, do the same thing, just like so. And just do that a couple times, closing it up. Do it from different angles. Really, it's just very simple. It's kind of boring to do, but yes. And then just in a random hole, put the needle through, bring it out through the top, pull that through, and once again, snip that off. And now there's a closed hole at the bottom. Look at her. She's so cute. Now this, I believe, should be the last step. And that is to get your brown thread, which you could use brown yarn if you want to, but I have thread. And that's to put little feet on the bottom. This is what the pattern calls for. So I'll go ahead and show you how I would do that. Put that on your yarn needle and double it up. I'm going to tie a little knot right here. We're going to just make little feet. I'm going to come in from a different side here. Not right here. That's where I want our little feet to be. Alright. Don't pull it all the way through. Leave this poking out just a little bit. I'm going to go in this one and up and out through here. Pull that. So there's the long part of the little chicken paws. I'm going to lay it back across, go in that same hole, but this time we're going to come out this one to make some little toes. Alright. Put that back in here. Come out through here. Okay. Go into the same hole, but then come out the other side to finish making those little toes. Chickens have toes, right? Right. And then we're going to go back into this little hole and come out the same hole that this is in. And there we go. We've got simple little chicken feet. Not too hard. I probably did not explain that the best. You can tie those if you want, but I don't want to. It's fine. Just don't pull on them. Don't pull on them too hard. And I'm going to repeat this on the other side, doing the same exact thing. And then we'll be done. And I'll show you the finished product. And there is her little chicken feet. Oh, so cute. We love a chicken and her little feet. Smush her little beak down so it doesn't look as big. But yeah, there we go. We have our little chicken. Our little round blob chicken.
Where did my chicken go? I can't seem to find him. Wait a minute. Oh. Well, if you made it this far in the video, thank you so very much. I hope that you came out with a cute little chicken just like me, and maybe it has different colors than mine or looks a bit different. I'd love to see them, so make sure you send me a picture on my Instagram at taylor.peach. I look at all of the pictures and messages you guys send me, and I appreciate all of them. Thank you so much for watching, and just for a bonus to getting at the end of the video, I've actually made one of these chickens from the same pattern quite a few years ago, and you can just see how far my crocheting has come. Here's the difference between those. I made this one when I was about 15 maybe, and now I'm 20. 5 years difference here. Aren't they so cute though? Oh. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you'll tune in to more of my videos in the future. Bye.